Hi, I'm Nick Gillespie with Reason TV, and today we're interviewing Emily Skarbek of the Independent Institute based in the Bay Area in California. She's the Director of Entrepreneurial Innovation at the Independent Institute. Emily, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
Okay, you're a PhD economist from George Mason, a good libertarian educational outfit, or at least certainly in terms of its economics department. You've got a website that's been up for a bit at the Independent Institute. Tell us what it is and what you're hoping to do with it.
So we at the Independent Institute put together this website. It's called mygovcost.org. And it has a government cost calculator available for people to just come and use freely and take a look at what it is that these government spending programs, these federal spending programs, are costing them personally.
Okay, and you're able to go through that, and you enter your age, you enter your educational level, and you enter your current income, and then it will create a series of charts and graphs that show how much the government is spending from your tax take, right?
Absolutely, Nick. But the most unique aspect of the calculator, which is really cool, is that it shows what the value of those dollars would otherwise be worth if you didn't have them taken from you and you could invest them privately in the market.
You're figuring on an investment return of about 6%, right?
Yeah, very conservative, just baseline estimate. But the reason why this is important is because in all of these debates about federal spending, and we agree it's wildly out of control, and the debate has zoned in on what areas really need to be cut. But the true costs of government spending are still being underestimated because the inefficiencies in state production of goods and services are not reflected in just your tax bill, but really reflected in what you could otherwise be purchasing with those dollars if you didn't have to give them to the government.
So it's looking at kind of opportunity cost, right?
Absolutely.
What are some of the big surprises? I worked through some numbers. I, of course, added a bit more to my salary than I actually have. But when I looked at Social Security, because you break it down into what, about 2 dozen categories,
All of the major spending categories that people are interested in, defense spending, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, these types of things.
as well as environmental regulations, things like that. I agree with you. It's a really cool site. It generates information immediately, and that opportunity cost of what your share, say, of funding Medicare or Social Security could be going to if you were able to invest it and get a 6% return. With Social Security, I mean, what do we find? I mean, are we going to get as much out of Social Security as we would if we were able to take the Social Security contribution from our FICA taxes and put it on the market?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the most surprising things that people will see when they come and use the calculator is that for just, a basic, college graduate who's, coming out, entering the job market, they could expect to turn their contributions from Social Security into, over $1.5 million that they could use over the course of their lifetime to spend in any way they please.
And instead, what they're going to be looking at is, maybe a 2% return tops and probably negative returns for people that are under the age of 55 or so. So that's pretty fascinating. What about defense? I mean, because the big spending ticket items in the federal budget are Social Security, their defense, Medicare, and Medicaid. What can we see when we look at how much defense spending is being paid for by an individual's tax take?
Well, this is why the calculator can be used for, people on both sides of the fence. But the idea is that the defense spending is absolutely out of control. And when you look at where your dollars are going, and if you are like I am and are morally outraged by our escapades in foreign policy, then you can use this as a tool to share your outrage with others and spread the word onto what these spending programs are costing.
How will you how do you measure success with this intervention into the public debate? What's a hoped for outcome for the Independent Institute and you regarding this calculator?
Well, we really want to provide a level of transparency and start this discussion in on how it is that we move towards real rule-based changes in public policy. So that's we on the website we provide a lot of news and resources, links to general ways in which people can take this information and really use it in developing their own ideas. But I just like the fact that in emphasizing the opportunity cost of government spending, we really open up this debate of can't we be more creative of how we go about servicing the goods and services that we've now turned over to the state to produce? I mean, most of the things that the government's spending our money on are things that the market provides really, really well. And so by emphasizing this, we hope to kind of allow people a venue to start talking about that, share their results on Twitter, on Facebook, and just move the discussion in a new and progressive direction.
Are you, when you look over the next 2, 4, 6 years, do you think that Americans are starting to get it, that they are starting to realize that we have a government that is unsustainable? Are you optimistic that we're going to reel it back in?
I guess I'm somewhat optimistic. I mean, you know, there has been a palpable shift in the way in which people are talking about federal spending and the role of the federal government in our private and public lives. And that, to me, I think is an important and recognizable change in the trend of ideas.
All right. Well, Emily Skarbek, Director of Entrepreneurial Innovation at the Independent Institute and the Director of the MyGovCost website. It's something that everybody should check out. I mean, you'll learn a lot. I know this is one of those things that put me, after looking at it, it put me in a short-term depression, but a longer-term sense of optimism because, like you were saying, it's transparency. It gives you a really strong sense of what your government tax dollars are going to across all sorts of spending items, and more important, what they could be doing elsewise. Emily, I want to thank you and the Independent Institute for getting it out there.
Thanks so much, Nick.